Hi guys, welcome to another episode. We're about to check out the Crystal Desert. Enjoy. Giants. And you can see here there's some ruins. Now these ruins, if you've seen or played Prophecies, will look very, very familiar to you. These are the same style ruins that we see up north. From the civilization that Churai built out of the few people who actually got up there. And they're very, very similar to it. In fact, we'll see a big gorge, and you can't cross the gorge. But when you look over the gorge, you will see the Crystal Desert itself. And yeah, we're only really exploring the very north bit of the Crystal Overlook. You can see the name appears there. That's because the whole explorable area is like this. We're only kind of scraping the northern section, which is a little bit of a shame, but there you go. We could have walked like there was another portal down here, I think. You can kind of go through and go north, but since we were already up here, I figured it would be quicker just to go through this portal. Right, and you can see lots more pilgrims, ascension pilgrims, a collector, and some people down there. What's this guy have to say? Hi, stranger. Are you here to seek ascension? You will find it for certain if you listen to Churai. It's weird. Some undead in this game seem to forget or not realise that they're undead, and they think it's still years and years and years ago. So, yeah, look at that sand. Looks very much like the Crystal Desert, doesn't it? And look at all these big corpses of the true giants. Let's cross the drawbridge into the ruins of the city. Right. There's this woman here, Shannara, right? She only appears and gives you a quest if you have got prophecies and you've been to the Crystal Desert to the north and you've got to here. Otherwise, you can't get this quest from her, but it is an awesome quest. Right, she says, long ago, my family travelled from our home in Vabi, following the footsteps of the great Churai Ossa. We fell ill after passing through an area with an awful smell and yellow haze, and I died at this very spot. My daughters hastily buried me and continued north. I do not know what happened to them, but I can feel my husband's grief and anguish from across the desert. Please go to my husband. He wallows in his guilt, and his spirit is bound to this land. I wish to release him from his anguish, but my spirit is bound here. Okay, I will free your husband from his guilt. This is called Lanner, I think. This little city. There's other than her, there's like material traders. Churai thought the scriptures contained a map to enlightenment and ascension, but they were merely lies to lure the weak-minded. They weren't lies. We became ascended. And yeah, like there's a material trader and a weaponsmith and stuff. Why? And it's such a shame because like, why would anyone ever come here to use this weaponsmith in this game? I mean, really. But he is here. I think it would be nice if there was more incentive to bring people out to places like this. But there you go, that was the way it was made. And you'll see that the quest marker takes us to there. Now, her family got further north, so this quest will actually take us into the Crystal Desert. And, you know, there were two things that used to really annoy me about this game. First, when I first started playing it, you had this huge world map, but you couldn't go everywhere on the world map, and that used to irritate me. Oh, also this graveyard, I believe if you walk near it, some skeletons come out, which is, yeah, see, check it out, which is a pretty cool touch, don't you think? They're weak, but it's just, yeah, a nice little touch. I wonder if they built this area sort of early in the development of Nightfall, because, like, you don't really see nice little touches like that too often in some areas. But yeah, as I was saying, two things really annoyed me. One was that you couldn't go everywhere on the map. I've actually come to like that these days because it adds a bit of mystery to the world. When you get truly open worlds like you see in the Elder Scrolls, if you play the game enough, eventually you can lose your sense of immersion because you've been everywhere and it kind of takes the magic out of it. At least, you know, in this game you can zoom out and look at islands like this and be filled with wonder and think, oh, what is there, I wonder. You know, so I've kind of come to like that. But the other thing that really annoyed me, when they released Factions, it was a completely different world map, and there was no way to specifically walk to the new areas. And that has always been a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. But as we know, Alona is connected to the Crystal Desert, which is in turn connected to Prophecies. So what they did with this quest is they've made it so that you can essentially walk from one campaign into another. And that's just brilliant. Once you've completed this quest, you do pretty much open a passageway that takes you from one zone, from one continent to the other. And I just really appreciate that they took the time to put this in. Because, I mean, it doesn't really serve many uses, not in a game with map travel as extensive as this game. But it's really nice to know it's there. And it just feels good to be able to walk from Alona, from all this rich culture and shit that we've learnt here. I mean, there's so much depth to this place. And then to actually be able to walk into the other campaign, which is so vastly different. It just really helps to ground all of the world together. And that for this reason, it's one of my favourite quests. It's a quest that starts in Nightfall and it takes you through to Prophecies to the Crystal Desert. And it also does something else quite cool, which you're about to see. Anyway, right. So, you'll remember when in Prophecies, if you saw it, I did an episode where we went and we did a quest about what the Alonans did, and there was a quest to get some more tribute points where we spoke to some of the Forgotten. Yeah, because obviously there's lots of Forgotten. And I pointed out this big statue over there. Can you see it? And you can actually see it from here. This is a giant statue that's actually a mirage. When you get close to it, it falls over. And in that same episode, I continued south and I said, oh guys, look, there's a portal here. We can't use it at the moment, but this actually takes you to Nightfall. And I said, one day we'll finally be able to see us go through it. And check it out, now that day has come. So we can speak to the Guardian. And these guys don't offer you access unless you've got the quest we're on at the moment. And he says, this portal leads to the sacred crystal desert of Tyria. I'm not allowed to let you pass unless you are familiar with its dangers. Which we are, because I went off camera and did it. So we want to travel. I sense you have a purpose in the crystal desert. This portal will lead you to the arid sea. Are you ready to travel there? And look at that. This is the Prophecies loading screen. How cool is this? And here we go. Giants, just like the ones we've had a little bit further south. And if I press M, boom. This is it. This is the other continent. If you guys have only seen Nightfall and not played the game, this map will probably come as a bit of a shock to you. Because yes, it is huge. But we're here off camera. I got to the Amnoon Oasis. This is all to do with sort of the Prophecy storyline. But yeah, we get this quest that comes here. And also the other thing in the Crystal Desert, if you remember, there were all these bleached bones that I said to you guys I wanted to read a lot of, but we never found many in the end. This quest actually takes bleached bones that had been put into the game at release and had their own stories. Remember, you could click the bleached bones and they tell you the story of the people who died, right? When the game was released, these bleached bones here were placed here and they told a story but never really elaborated on it much. And when they brought out Nightfall, they decided, look, let's make a quest about the bleached bones. So now these have a purpose. So now you click them and these are actually a part of the quest. So these are the bones of the family of the woman we were just talking to. Why did we come out here? My daughters have grown sicker each day and nothing I can do will save them. At night I see the gleaming eyes of creatures that wait just outside the firelight for me to fall asleep, so that they can feed on my little ones. Their mother, dead these last 2 weeks, will curse me from her shallow grave, but I have no choice. Tonight the soup will contain enough choke root to put the girls to sleep once and for all. When they are safe once again, I will eat of it myself, for I'll not face the morning without them. How brilliantly dark is that? That's so cool. I really want to see more storylines like this. I mean, not many games have the balls to talk about a father killing his own 2 little girls. It's awesome. Okay, so hello Rotal. And at last we get to meet him. I have spent an eternity swallowed by guilt. Now I wish for forgiveness. You saw my wife? How I miss her so. Her compassion calms my restless spirit. But I cannot rest, knowing the fate of our precious daughters. Long ago, in an act of mercy, I helped my daughters achieve eternal rest to escape the disease and heat of this awful desert that was eating away at their bodies. But the eyes of something horrible were watching and waiting to devour not just their bodies, but their souls. It was the Scarab Queen. I saw her devour them whole, trapping their souls to feed upon them for eternity. I see her even now, feasting on the remains the desert provides. You must save them, strike down the Scarab Queen, and free the souls of my daughters from their eternal torment. So, what they're actually referencing here is another boss that was added separately in sort of a later get. Oh yeah, a June lizard. I love June lizards. I've never actually had one as a pet, but they're pretty cool, aren't they? You only find them here. Let's kill it. But yeah, what he's talking about is another boss that was added in a later update. And if you actually go back and watch my Prophecies episodes, you'll see that when I was at Augury Rock, I spoke to a hunter. In fact, we can do that now. Oh, the other thing this lets you do is it lets you come here with an 8-man party when it was only designed to be 6-man, which I guess is quite nice. If people want to vanquish this area, they can use that quest. But yeah, let's travel to Augury Rock. So this is the sacred place where we came to become closer to the gods ages ago. I hope my team composition's okay. I'm not going to go into the storyline of this too much, guys, because that's all Prophecies related stuff. But one thing before we go, I will show you, if we come north out into Skyward Reach, remember all that time ago we were here with Devonna, with Aiden, with Sin, and we scouted the area out, and we were all awed by it. If you actually come out here, now that we helped those guys in the other quest, check them out, they're here. They actually make it to Augury Rock. They can't ascend, obviously, but these are the people we helped in the first quest. What an awesome little touch. They actually decided to let that quest have a lasting consequence. Though it cost me my life, I'm grateful that these dead eyes can lay rest on the land we once sought to find. Thank you, friend. Because of you, we finally reached our destination. Okay, so they just repeat the same thing. Were I still alive, this sight would bring a tear to my eye. Thank you for guiding me to the promised land. And Shinadra, the journey took my daughter, my friends, and finally my life. I never expected to rest in peace, but now it seems I finally might. I'd just be upset. This is the mesa, this is the sacred thing that we actually get inside on prophecies. I would just be upset, to be honest. I'd just be like, oh, I'm finally here, but I can't do anything. I can't ascend. I can't become close to the gods. I wasted my life for this. But yeah, and you can sort of see all the wrecks of Alonia all around here and stuff. I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure it wasn't the Alonians that built this complex, because as you can see there's a lot more forgotten architecture around here, because as you know there's a lot of forgotten here as well as ghosts. Anyway, right, so let's hunt down this beast for this other quest. Strike down Kefket Marrow Feast in Prophet's Path and free the souls of Rotal's daughters. Now when they added Kefket after the release, they also added this hunter who talks about the boss. For years I have hunted the elusive and deadly Kefket, Queen of the Scarabs. Every time I have closed in on her location, she and her brood move on and seem to disappear into thin air again. Recently I have noticed a pattern in the selection of nesting sites. It seems that they always travel to places where death is abundant, building their nests among rotting corpses and on blood-soaked grounds, usually places of warfare, sacrifice or slaughter. It has been my life's quest to see that Kefket meets her end, but I seem to be getting nowhere on my own. If you go face her, I pray the gods keep you company. Without them, I fear you will not be long for this world. And it's quite a cool boss fight as well, actually. You get Kefket, and she's sort of surrounded by all these nest builders who lay traps and stuff in a big ring around her. It is quite cool. Probably talking about that a bit prematurely, but there you go. So yeah, this was the big grand entrance to Augury Rock that we witnessed all that time ago. I quite like coming back here. I quite like it indeed. And then the big long forgotten pillars which we followed. These things sort of led us to our destination, and they sort of stretch off a long way off to the Amnoon Oasis. Lots of devourers. Of course, we're kind of early on in the plot again now, so sort of it's a 6-man area, not an 8-man area. All the stuff are pretty easy to kill. Minotaurs, Minotaurs. And you can see Kefket's down here, right? I don't want to spend too long blagging. I'm probably gonna have to split this episode. I can tell already. But yeah, I'm just gonna head south and speed it up as much as possible. And I got an Elonian key as well. I'm getting quite lucky with the keys, aren't I? Oh, so yeah, lots of old sites. There's some hydras over there. Check them out. Hydras, remember these? We haven't seen any of these since Prophecies. Christ knows what they'll be doing in Guild Wars 2. I can't remember any evidence of them being around. Desert Griffins. It's nice coming back here and not being forced to play it entirely solo. It's so nice, because like before, if you remember, the reason why I didn't look at a lot of the bleached bones around here was because I was constantly under loads of pressure, because it was just me. But now I can sort of take my time. See, there's some over here. Let's read them. I wonder if these are the bones of one of the daughters, maybe? Oh, there's 2. The strange snake-like creatures have been harrying us day and night. This last attack claimed my poor Nylund. I just hope that if my time comes that I don't go the same way. Since then, a silent determination has settled over the others. They've begun calling the strange brown boxes chestnuts. We've discovered that when we place them on the stone pedestals they light up, but either the teleporter is broken or we're still missing the key to activate them, because we're no farther than the day we arrived. Right, so what he's talking about there is all of the sort of teleporter mechanisms that the Forgotten have built around here, or maybe something even older. Treyeg plots against me, and for that I can't blame him. I welcome his blade in my back. I only hope the gods don't judge me too harshly when I reach the other side. It's a wretched place. Okay. Right, so this is the boss fight. It's a cool boss fight. Pretty much, as you know, they added green weapons into Guild Wars after a while. And essentially what this was one of the first bosses that was ever added that dropped greens, which is cool. And he's got a very high chance for dropping greens as well. I might even get one filming this. But it's like there's really quite good protection stuff. See, as you can see here, the boss itself is a monk, but Koss is running in there like a moron and triggering all the traps. Fuck me! Look at all the scarabs. No, no, no! Come back! Oh my god, there's loads. Kos, you fucking moron. He's gonna die. There we go, he's dead. Ah, silly, silly man. Okay, he's back up. Kill all the little scarabs first, guys. There I am saying this is all easy, and then no. The boss fight isn't easy. Most of the Crystal Desert is easy to walk around. There we go, she's dead. Oh, it's quite lucky actually. You see the ring that they've built here? She actually came right out of the ring, which doesn't usually happen. She didn't drop the green, but there you go. Okay, so that's that quest complete. We've got to go all the way back down to the teleporter to find her again, so to cash in the reward. So guys, I will cut it till I'm back at the teleporter, since that's quite a walk away for me now. And yeah, I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so here we go. We're coming quite close now. There's the statue again. And you can kind of see near it, I don't know whether you guys can see that, but there's some pillars there as well. That's where it falls down when you get closer to it. So, and around the corner here is the portal, which I showed you ages ago. This is the one that I originally took you to, with the markings. And but now we can actually speak to the Guardian. He says, this portal leads to the Desolation, a deadly wasteland shrouded in poisonous sulphur mists. You do not have the means to survive in such a place, so I cannot grant you passage. Oh yes you can. This portal will take us to the Crystal Overlook, inside the Desolation in the north of Elona. I can sense your command over the Janudu, a very rare talent indeed these days. As you will have no problems traversing the sulphurous wastes, you may travel through if you wish. So, yeah, say goodbye to Tyria, guys. That was our little glimpse at it. You know, knowing all this stuff about the Desolation and sort of southern Elona and how it's all kind of deserty, it kind of makes me appreciate, like, suddenly how different everything is after the Crystal Desert ends. But, yeah. Okay, so we are ready. Let's go. Back out to the Crystal Overlook. And we need to go back to the ruins to speak with the woman. But now, of course, we've only got a 6-man party, which I completely forgot would happen. So hopefully these Jinn don't destroy us. I'm not too worried. Okay, here we go. Back over the drawbridge. Yeah, this episode's definitely going to have to be split in half. My god, I can't believe it took so long. Right, here you go. Oh, and her family's with her. Look, these are her daughters. I feel bad about leaving Papa alone in the desert, but Mayamo and I wanted to find Mama. I want to tell Papa how much I love him and that I forgive him. I know he did what he did because he loved us with all his heart. By the end, I was so sick I wanted it to end. I welcomed death, and I would have been content in the afterlife had that monster not eaten my soul. Okay. Look at my daughters, are they not beautiful? My heart sings now that I'm reunited with them. After you slew the beast that bound their spirits, they journeyed here to tell me of their fate. I now know what happened following my death. I was shocked to hear what my husband did, and while I may never be able to forgive him for killing our daughters, I know in my heart it was an act of mercy and love. That's a bit stupid, actually. That's poorly written, if you ask me. If she really knew it was an act of mercy and love, she would forgive him. Ridiculous. I cannot hate him for it. Soon my daughters and I will travel to Rotal's resting place and show him we are still a family. Okay, well there we go. Obviously you can forgive him. That's that quest done, guys. And that means that that's the end of our bonus episodes as well. Yay! Okay, so I hope you liked them. As I said, these are some of my favourite quests in all of Nightfall. They're pretty good. Join me next time, though. You know, now that we're finished, what does that mean? That means that next time we will be in our final confrontation with War Marshal Varesh Ossa. I hope you're ready, Morgan. See you next time, everyone.